Welcome back to Braid is a Blueprint. Today I'm breaking down how to get 6 straight back braids. The key to straight back parts is balance. I start by finding the middle of the head. This ensures both sides are even. Then I use my comb to create the first part, working from the front hairline to the nape in one motion. If you need to adjust, no problem. Just try to get right in front of your client and follow their nose to get that good middle part. Sometimes you get it on the first try, sometimes you don't. I'm just going in again to make sure that part is all cleaned up before moving to the next section. Once my part is straight, I go ahead and move to the back of my client's hair to continue on my straight back part. Keeping in mind that sectioning off that hair as you go will help you have more control. While getting to the nape of the head, I like to switch to my all-purpose comb just for the fact that I can get in a little bit closer than I can get into it with the rat tail comb. But nonetheless, I'm still doing the same technique, just parting down and moving that hair out the way to get that first middle part, which would be breaking the hair down in half. So we know we're attempting to do 6 stitch braids. So I'm going to split it down the middle so I know to do 3 braids on each side. Once I get that middle part defined and I'm okay with it, I'm going to take my comb from the middle to the ear of the head. This will be my foundation to get my 3 braids in the back. So what that means is I'll be sectioning off the front to only work with the back. This is how I can guarantee that my braids are more proportioned. So again, I just took that part from the middle down to the ear. This is going to be the back base of our 6 stitch braids today. Once we have that section off, we can go in to try and see where our 3 braids will lay and how they will lay. Starting with the nape, you can kind of get an idea of how much neck space you're going to have for each braid. The trick is to get it flat so the braids don't overlap one another. So I'm just going through parting my braid down as if I was doing 6 straight back braids right away. I like to section off my hair, and again, I am doing a soft part, and I'm not using product, which is why I'm going in with a rubber band to secure that hair out of my way. Braiding it down just so you guys can see what the foundation of this first braid is going to look like, as well as how the nape is in line so that the braids don't overlap one another. They will all lay perfectly right next to each other, and that's how you get that flat, seamless look at the end. And again, like I said, we're doing three braids in the back, 6 stitch braids, so I'm just going to go ahead and split that other section in half. Once that is in half, this will pretty much be our foundation for our 3 braids on this left hand side. And I'm just braiding it down for the video purposes. If this was an actual client, I would be more so just sectioning and going as I go. But either way, I would still take these steps to ensure that my braids will be balanced and as proportioned as possible. So here you should have your last braid. This will be your last section. And I'm just going to twist that down and secure that with the rubber band so we can move forward to the front, where I will show you how to connect the front cornrow to the back cornrow to give an appearance of the 6 straight back braids. This will not be 6 braids on this side. This will just be 3 braids. Once at the front of the hairline, we will take our rat tail comb and make 1 straight part back into the middle of the head. Keep in mind that the back is already parted, so now we just need to connect this front part to the back part. As you can see here, they're lining up pretty nicely. Now keep in mind that this is just a soft part and no product has been added to clean or define these parts. You might not get it on the first try or first attempt, but I promise you after a while of doing it, you'll be able to kind of gauge how your parts are going to go and how easily they'll connect. But sometimes you most definitely will have to repart and clean up your parts, which is very much normal, even for professionals, which is why we can be labeled as perfectionists. Well, I like to label myself as a perfectionist because I will take the extra steps to get that part cleaned up and just making sure everything is aligned as best as I possibly can. Now I'm just braiding up this section to kind of give you guys a more clearer view of how these braids will connect. I'm just going to go in and go ahead and clip this off just to show you guys the top view and the back view and how smooth that's going to lay together once it's time to make that into one official cornrow. Moving on to our last section, we're just going to split that in half because we in fact know we only need 2 more braids. Sometimes braiding can be like math. If I'm ever working with an even amount of braids, I like to split the hair down the middle and put even amount of braids on each side. So if this was a 4-part braid style, I would still split it in half, and then instead of doing 3 on this side, I would do 4. Me personally, I don't really offer an odd number of braids, but feel free to do whatever you like to do. And I'm just braiding these cornrows down to attach to the ones in the back. Our last braid is easy to spot. It's the only part that's left. So you can get a very clear idea of how this can be beneficial for pre-parting and lining up those braids to get them straight back. As a beginner, I started with the outside braid and worked my way into the middle, and the braids were always crooked. So this is what works for me after years of, working on my technique. And here you can see that these braids will be beautifully stitched straight back. Beautiful clean parts, all with no product. Keeping in mind, it's just a soft part. Moving on to the next side, we will do the same thing, splitting that section in half from the middle to the ear. And since we are working with an even number of braids, whatever you do on one side, you want to do to the other. So again, I'm starting with the middle braid to get our first foundation braid on the right hand side. I'm just going to pre-part that, section off the rest, and braid that down. Get that twisted down, you'll be able to see how beautiful that looks in the back. None of the braids are overlapping, and they will lay perfectly beautiful. Now that we make it to the front, we will be doing the same thing, except on this side, I will be showing you guys how to get a curved C-part kind of style with what's trending right now, curved parts and zigzags and all of that. So I just wanted to take some time to show you guys that. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and move that section out the way and show you how to achieve this with your all-purpose comb. I'm just going to go in again, holding it like a pencil, and take it at an angle from the inside of the braid to the outside. So from the inside of the hair to the hairline itself. And then I'm just going to curve that down to make a curved part. And again, I'm not using any product to achieve this right now, so it's not going to be as clean as it's going to be as if I was adding gel. So keep that in mind whenever you're pre-parting something. If it looks good while it's no product, it'll look even better once product is added. I'm going to show you how to curve this braid again with no product, but just to show you how it would lay as if product was on it and it was a nice braid itself. I'm just going to go in and soft part this, braiding it down to show you guys a more cleaner part, so you can get a better idea of what I'm going for. And if you've been interested in learning how to part more designs and things like that, try working off of inspo pics. Try working with soft parts. Try playing with the parts before you actually make the braid, just so you can see how it would lay. Especially on everyone's hairline, they're different. You can't guarantee the same results every time. But if the work is good, the braids will be good, no doubt. Parting takes time though, so keep that in mind. And that's just my little filler braid. You know, since it's going to be curved, we have to put a filler braid in there. And our last cornrow at the top, I'm just going to throw this in so you guys can get a good view of the finishing product of a soft part for 6-stitch braids with a curved part on the side. No product. Look at that. Nice straight back. Just about all the same size. And they will all connect beautifully in the back into 6-stitch braids that lay flat at the nape with a little design on the side. Nothing too major. Something that I would probably charge about $184.